Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Cast Carbon, and this is the final video for the Metal Master Chief armor build. It feels a little bittersweet. The fact of the matter is I've worked for 2 years on this project. I started in June of 2024, and right now it is July 2026. Of course, I didn't work every single moment of every single day for 2 years to build this suit, but in terms of personal projects, I don't think I've ever tackled something that took me this long to build, and I was a little obsessive about it. Really did want to get this done, and putting it up on YouTube, it both helped and hurt. It helped because it gave me a reason to really press on and make sure I finish this project. I didn't want to let it sit and not become completed. On the other hand, it kind of slowed me down because I like YouTube in terms of watching videos, and I like watching streamers and different people, but I don't really have that mindset myself. So, you know, having the brain to make the video, I'll have ideas, but then it's like, can I make that happen? So ultimately, I tend to lean more towards getting the project built. So I hope that if you watched me through any of these videos, that I was at least a little bit entertaining, but that I could make a cool piece of art for you guys to enjoy looking at. I don't want to waffle on too much longer, so let's go ahead and get into the final video for this build. So here we have the helmet, looking pretty good, but a little rough, because if you notice, especially places like the seams along here, how rough that is. These little, look at that, them little pits. That just looks gross. All right, like I hit it with the grinder, cleaned it up some, but it's not perfect. It's needing some filling of the gaps. You know, we also have stuff like this, right? Like there's a seam here from the weld, but then there's like this low spot and this low spot on either side of it. So we're gonna fill that with, well, body filler. Now normally what you would use is Bondo or something equivalent. Bondo, actually, to be fair, is a brand, but it just body filler is what they call it. This is not normal body filler. This is JB Weld. This is their normal cold weld stuff. It's a two-part situation, so the same amount of this and this. You mix it up over here. I got a piece of cardboard and a plastic knife. I'm going to mix this goo up, and then with a rubber glove, I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to spread that on here, and it's going to act as a filler. So I've got, over here, I've got all the other pieces of the armor laid out. So as you can see, I mean, I mixed all that goo up, and I spread it all over the different pieces of the armor to fill in various gaps and holes and ugly spots all over here. And then I'm going to go back with possibly the angle grinder, definitely the palm sander, to clean it all off. So that way we have a smooth surface that'll be prepared and ready for paint. Here's the booty, right? You can see in here, like there was a big gap between these two pieces. There's a lot of ugly spots in there. So like, yeah, we spread in a lot of JB Weld there. We spread JB Weld here on the shoulder. It's all over the place, right? A lot needed to be done on the shins, because if y'all recall how these looked, they were pretty rough. So I went ahead and worked on all them other pieces beforehand, but I'll show you guys the most important piece, the helmet. So, like I said, I need to do a mix of equal parts, A and B, the steel and the hardener. You can see it says those things down here on the bottom. mix this stuff up, and then just, I'm gonna, with my gloves, just spread it all over the parts of the helmet that look ugly. So this won't take me too awful long to do, so let's get started. I gotta mix more up, but you get the idea, yeah? Frog. All right, so this thing has been just utterly slathered in body filler, JB Weld. And so now I'm gonna show y'all me sanding it for a little while. Truly an exciting part of the process. I will be using both the palm sander and I will be using the detail file sander thingy. I've heard this thing called a Y grinder, by the way, because when you loosen this up and you hold it like this, it can be a Y. Yeah. But either way, electric file and palm sander. Betwixt these two tools, this baby's gonna be refined, looking good, and we will be prepping for paint. So, I mean, y'all get the idea. I have to keep sanding all the JB Weld off, and this is going to take a long time. But the benefit of the two different sanders I got, the palm sander's great because, you know, it's got this big, nice, flat surface, so I can run it along, you know, big pieces of geometry, like these big chunks of a dome, you know, stuff like that, or along here, whatever. And then the Y grinder, or the power file, or however you want to call this. I think I even heard somebody call this a finger grinder once, which is a weird name. Either way, this thing's great because, as you saw there in that clip, you know, I was able to get in here and get all this detail and get in around these details, and especially up here on the dome, I'm able to get in here and go along this ridge line. Because I actually, you can see over here, I've still got JB Weld on this side. I put JB Weld over here, and that will allow, hopefully the camera really shows it, but the three-dimensional nature of the differences in height between this and this. So, yeah, I think that's a decent enough demo, so you guys get the idea behind using the grinders and sanders and the body filler. And if I'd used like Bondo body filler, like a normal body filler, this would go a lot faster. But unfortunately, I went with JB Weld, which is not only more expensive, but also much more durable because it's basically a steel epoxy. So it is what it is. So I am going to get the rest of the entire suit sanded off screen, and then you guys will see the entire thing in its most pristine of states, ready for primer and paint. So I'll be right back. So you can see here, I got a lot of it sanded down. I've predominantly got the whole thing sanded down, but yeah, there's still work to be done on it. If you look right here, you can see this is a pretty good example. This little spot right here, you see how it's a lighter color, but then there's a darker color in the center. That's because that darker spot is actually the fresh, raw JB Weld. It didn't get touched. It's a low spot still that needs more filler, right? So what I'm saying is, essentially, I have to now take this thing back and do another round of filler, another round of JB Weld to really get in here and you know, get everything the way I want it to. Like this guy right here, for example, this C-shaped little panel I added. You can see right here, a lot of that didn't get sanded at all, and it's got this, if the camera focuses, it's got this like little hump where right around here it just dips in. I'm gonna put more JB Weld on here as a body filler, and I'm gonna use the palm sander to smooth it out because I want to erase that shelf there. I want it to be a perfect, smooth, just continuous transition across this whole face. So I'm going to, you know, I know I said I'd be right back with the finished thing, but I just kind of wanted to point that out. When you do body filler, Bondo, whatever material you end up using, I just kind of wanted to point out that when you do body filler, whether it be Bondo or in my case JB Weld, you often have to do more than one run of that stuff to fill every gap, because you know sometimes you miss things, but also sometimes you have air bubbles in your Bondo and you have to go back and do it again. Like that gap right there. Ah! So yeah, anyway, okay, bye. And there it is. There's the helmet after I have sanded and filled using all the JB Weld all over the daggum thing. And I'm satisfied enough with what I've done here. There's a lot of filling I had to do, especially along this guy right here, the transition between this little extra panel and the underplate. And it was time consuming, man. Like getting this thing looking pretty was quite a bit of effort. Up here at the front of the dome, these cutouts, I kind of just put a lot of JB Weld up here and tried to sculpt this ridge line, which I don't know, it's not really perfect, and there's still dark spots in there. So we're gonna see moving forward. Same on the other side. And I'm not really happy about the line going up here, but I think this is at least somewhat good. So the next step will be primer. But here's the right upper arm, just so you guys can see like another example. And like, you know, like the separation between the like hexagon shoulder pad thing and the rest of the arm. I put a lot of filler in the crease there, and then I sculpted it down with the sanders. It's a lot of nonsense to get this all looking right, and even then, it's like I could be doing this forever, trying to make it truly perfect. But you know, I don't have forever, so we're gonna call it here, and I'm gonna hit it with primer, and then once it's primed, we'll see what it looks like, see where I go from there, whether I have to do more filler or I jump into making things green. All the parts are kind of laid out willy-nilly, but I think this will do. It is pretty darn windy out here right now, so I'm going to do the best I can to get some of this primed. But this is our primer, Rust-Oleum, automotive stuff. Yeah, the light gray. I think they sell this in a darker gray as well. But either way, this is what I'm going to use, and it should get me a good base coat. I like to invert the can while I shake it all up, just because that helps, or it seems to help, in getting the paint good and mixed. All right, here we go. We'll start. And we'll just start right here. And a big thing when it comes to paint, we just want to be making quick little whooshy passes, all right? Like, I'm pushing the button at, like, push the button, push down, move, you know, and then still moving as I let go, right? So it's like move, button, let go, still moving the whole time. That way you get good paint coverage, and you're less likely to get like too thick of paint in like one spot, if that makes sense. This is primer, so it acts a little different than the paint, but even still, you know, I still want to keep that habit because it'll be better for my paint work in the long run. So like here on the boot, right, I'm move, you know, and I move around. And to be fair here, I have been fiddle farting around with rattle can spray paint for a great many years. You know, I am not exactly interested in doxing my age, but I'm nearly 40, and I've been playing around with spray paint since I was in middle school. It's been like 20 years at least of me fiddle farting around. But yeah, I think this will work. I think it'll do. You can see the cool thing about primer or paint in general, like you can see it's all turning one solid color, and it's erasing how like some weird ugly spots look. Like here, if we go over to the helmet, right, I've got weird spots all over, but then boom, primer, and there's the wind. But I sweep across the helmet with that primer. Man, look how much better that looks. You'll forgive me if my camera angles are a little poopy. I'm trying to focus on my paint more than the camera. But look at that. Oh, glorious. There we go. Yeah, look at that, dude. Like you can see a bit of a dent right in there. You know? Oh, well, actually the camera, yeah, I don't know. It's looking like something though. Yeah. See, and I said you don't want to be heavy-handed with your paint. You absolutely don't. You'll get like drippy runs and stuff. But you know, with the primer, I can be a little more heavy-handed, because like primer, and especially like this primer, is intended to be sanded in order to really prep the part for its final coat of paint. So you can be a little bit heavy-handed with primer. I wouldn't recommend it, but you have to. You kind of have to worry a little bit less about primer. Look at that. That looks just so good. Actually, you know what? Here's what I want to do. Let's move around here and get the chest. Oh, make sure you can actually see what I'm doing. That looks so good. It looks so good. It's so clean now, bro. It's the magic of a good coat of paint. It cleans everything up and makes it look uniform and good. And it really hides the ugly bits. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this bit here with the primer. I'm gonna continue doing this off camera because I am getting my phone coated in paint, and that's bad. I'm gonna come back after I've primed everything, and I have to prime them inside and out. So I gotta get in there primed, as well as, you know, the obvious outside parts. So let me prime this stuff and I'll be right back. All right, I moved around to the other side of my house at someone's recommendation because they're nice to me. But yeah, the wind has been a major pain in the bohiney, and I was struggling with that first can of primer. The second can was doing pretty good. I've got everything primered kind of on one side. I'm gonna have to flip all the parts so I can get on the inside, but I mean, look at it. It is so clean looking. For the most part anyway. Especially when you like stand back. That's looking pretty clean. Anyway, I'll get these fully primered, and then I'm gonna show y'all the lovely shade of green that I'm going to put on this. Right, it is incredibly windy outside, and it is also very hot. So I don't want to paint the rest of this out in the sun. We're painting in the shop again. Or we're painting in the shop. We're back in the shop again. That's the proper way to say that. So, color of choice, our paint of choice. I'm using the Rust-Oleum Camouflage, specifically the Flat Army Green. The bad news, ladies and gentlemen, is that I only have 2 cans of this. And when I did the gray, the primer, I ran through 4 cans. So I am likely to have to go to the store and get more green paint. But that's not a big deal. Now you notice on the chest plate, on the helmet, on the boots, I have some tape on there. I have painter's tape, the blue stuff. Specifically, I think it's the duct tape brand, yeah, that stuff. But that is covering up different other colors. As you can see, painted around on the chest plate, I have some silver metallic, and that's what this area, I decided I wanted it to be this metallic color. I decided for this part, that part, and a few other spots on the body here, that it would be too much of a pain in the butt to tape everything off. So I'm gonna repaint that later. But you know, I decided this is silver, I painted it, I'm gonna cover it. And the same goes for the boots. Master Chief's boots have a silver gray color here on the toe caps and on the heel. So I taped those off as I thought would look good. And of course the helmet as well, which actually it's much darker, and you can see that I used a paint that was darker here, a darker metallic color. It's not black. I didn't use a metallic black. I think a lot of people tend to paint that part black, and I have, on other helmets and things I've made in the past, I would paint that black. But I went with oil rubbed bronze is the actual color, which I don't have the can to show you, but I'll if I can find it, if I didn't throw it away, I'll show you that can later. Shaky, 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 shaky. All right, so start with the boots. Yeah, buddy. And I like this color of green. Rust-Oleum, once upon a time, made a color, what was it? It was a satin color, and it was satin oregano. And I have used it before. I've seen other people use that satin oregano, and it was a good color for like a military green, sort of that olive drab, right? But since they do make actual camo colors these days, I think this will suffice. And I'm sure there's some debate that we could have in terms of what green shade I ought to be using, since Chief's armor and his paint changed from the various games. But I think this color is kind of just a good universal military green style, so that's what I'm going to go with. So yeah. Also, I am sweating my bohini off. You can see right here, that is a drip of sweat, which I don't need to be getting on things while I'm trying to paint. Ugh. Seriously. I'm positively dripping in sweat because it is hot. And I hate it. And I don't need to do this, but I am trying to paint a little bit of the inside as well. With the primer, I went through and made sure the whole thing was primed inside and out, right? Because I want the metal to be sealed from getting rusty as much as possible. Oh, and that's another spot that I decided not to tape up. I'm gonna go back and repaint that later. But, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. Painting the inside. I need to do that just to protect the metal. So the whole thing does need to get painted overall. But I'm not really bothering to get the green inside of these pieces. Not too much. Just anywhere where you know, when I'm wearing the suit, if you see me wearing it and I move just right, you know, you could see inside the part. It's like, well, I might as well make it green. So like here on the elbows, for example. I'm so sweaty. There we go. We'll paint the chest plate a little bit. That already looks cool. You know, it's the same painting methodology too. That same methodology of like you start moving, you spray, and then you let go, but you continue moving through the whole swipe, you know? It's one of those things people don't know when it comes to using spray paint. But it is important if you're doing creative stuff like this, or anything with spray paint. You know, no matter what you're doing with spray paint, you want to You want to keep from getting runs, and by golly, this is a great way to do that. Yeah, same up here with the shoulders. I'm gonna paint a lot of the interior of the shoulder, but I'm more focused on the outside because that is the part we care about. I will say, being in the shop and out of the wind means I'm less likely to waste paint since there's no air movement in here. That's good. That's what we want, because paint's not cheap. Then again, nothing's cheap anymore. All right. I'm going to cut video here because I'm having a hard time fighting through my sweat and painting. So I'm going to put the phone down, put the camera down, and I'll be back shortly. So I am satisfied with the green paint. I also have my different painted darker spots on the helmet. I went ahead and did this entire rim in the darker, the oil rubbed bronze. I know that's not quite accurate, but I think it looked good. So there you go. I am in my house, but it is, we're into July as of this recording session, and it's really hot, and I have a box fan right next to me. So hopefully the sound isn't dreadful. I've got the mic going, so hopefully you guys can hear me and I don't sound like poo-poo. I'm gonna be really sad if the audio is poo-poo. Anyway, what I could do, honestly, with it being painted green now, I could call it a day, but I don't want to do that. I want this to look a little bit nicer. I'm gonna do just a little bit of weathering to this thing. You can go really heavy and really get into all the recessed areas with a lot of dark and really bright on the edges here, and then get scratches and all the things. We're gonna go light because I don't feel like I want this to be super duper dirty. I want it to be, for the most part, I want this armor to look pretty clean. My reason being is that, being metal, it will naturally end up getting weathered anyway from banging around and, getting stuff knocked into it and all that. So I'm not super worried about it getting super grungy, but I want it to look a little bit weathered, right? Also, the green here is super duper flat. I mean, it is supposed to be a camo paint, so it's not very reflective or anything. So I just want to highlight edges and make this look a little better. So what we're going to do, very simple. I have some silver metallic paint. This is the old Plaid FX, which I don't think they make anymore, which makes me sad because I can't find this anywhere. But any paint will do, really, whatever is your cup of tea in terms of paint. But this is what I have on hand, and I like it, and I want to use it. So I'm going to use just a simple, cheapo chip brush. To be fair, I don't know why these are called chip brushes, but these are cheapo little brushes. They're like $1, and this is the 1-inch version. You can buy these at Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot, or I suppose other hardware stores and whatnot. But these are cheap. They're like $1, and that's great because we're not really going to care about this brush. We're just going to dip it in the paint, and you can see over here I've already been doing some of this. I've done basically the rest of the armor already, but I'm showing you what I did. So I'm getting which is this. I'm getting a little bit of paint. That's actually a lot of bit of paint. And I'm going to just take the majority of the paint off, right? And we are going to just highlight all these edges. That's way more than I want still. We're dry brushing. People who do miniature painting, people who do model kits, other cosplay type people, you guys are going to know precisely what this is. But basically I have almost no paint on my brush, and I'm catching the high spots, right? And we end up with this little bit of metallic on here, and I'm also getting other natural scratches. but like all the high points catch the paint. And what that gives me is just these nice highlights all over the helmet. Helps all the edges stand out, differentiates the thing from being so, you know, like one singular blob of green to actually being an object. Now, if I really did want this to be camouflaged, of course, I would leave very much alone and I wouldn't bother doing something like this, but since it's a costume, since it's, you know, I want people to see the detail, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna just ooper dooper doo, and then do some more of this. And it works very quickly too. And it's one of them things, less is more as well. Because I don't really feel like getting a lot on here. Well, oh well. That's a little more right in that spot. That's fine. We're taking kind of the Bob Ross happy accidents approach, where the brush is going to pick them highlights up and we're going to get what we get. Ow. Okay. Excuse me while I readjust real quick. Now I can show you a little bit better. The lighting's pretty good. Okay. So you can see it catches those high spots, and look at that. It highlights so much. Like the really deep spots, like this recess right in here, it was fine before, but now with all that silver on it, it highlights the entire thing. And it's just, it adds to the depth so we can really see that shape. You know, and the same goes around here. I really like how the paint was picking up this curve here and that curve there. So I'm gonna go back my puddle, get some more. I'm just gonna keep going around the center lines, get those. And I'm just kind of haphazard, you know, just back and forth, letting the brush kind of just do the work for me. There we go, get a little bit more. There's not really a science to this. It's just kind of how I'm looking at it and how I'm feeling. Is that getting the coverage I want? You know? And overall, let's see here. Overall, I'm kind of liking that. Oh. So that's good. That's a good start. And that kind of gives you guys an idea of the dry brushing effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut camera. I'm going to get everything dry brushed, and then I'll come back with the helmet and we will clear coat the whole thing. Okay, so now I've got the helmet completely weathered to my liking, to my tastes, to what I want. And now it is time for the clear coat. That way we can seal in all the silver. And if I had done any dirtying it up, any like brown mud, dirt, whatever, or black to fill in those darker areas. But I didn't do that, so we only have to seal in the silver. Anyway, yes, so this is what we're using as our clear coat. And my experience with this is that depending on which clear coat, because we're using gloss clear, but they also make flat, they make semi-gloss and satin. My experience with this specifically, with this combination of paint and then clear coat, is that this green is actually going to get darkened by the clear coat for some reason. I don't know the chemistry behind it, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm okay with that, but it's just something that I've noticed in my own experience with painting. So, you know, for those of you at home, if you end up doing stuff and using paint, you know, just, it's one of those things. Take your paint, take some scrap material, spray it, and then spray your other paints. Just kind of experiment so you know what the paints are going to do to each other, because you know, chemistry-wise, paints do interact with each other in interesting and strange ways. So you wouldn't want to spend a lot of time on a piece and then find out, oh hey, yeah, that paint don't like that other paint, and all that work is now doo-doo poo-poo bad. Because I've had that happen, and it's very, very upsetting. And as far as these, the stand is concerned, it's just a, it's like a cheap wooden plaque. The kind of thing you can get from places like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or even like Walmart. But really any board will do. And then I've got a PVC end cap there at the bottom. There's a screw attaching it to that board. And then there's other pieces of PVC pipe that just act as a stick to hold everything together. It's a very simple and rudimentary kind of stand, but it does what I need. And for something like this, that's perfectly fine. Don't fall over. Please and thank you. Now, realistically, this is going to be Halo 2. And I always kind of remember Halo 2, and I play the games fairly frequently lately. But Halo 2, Master Chief, and the other multiplayer Spartans. Oh, you little fly, get away. Don't leave your little footprints on there. That sounds like a joke, but I ain't kidding. I don't like it when bugs land on my work. Anyway, what I was saying, I always kind of envision Chief and the other Halo 2 Spartans as being kind of shiny. Same with Combat Evolved, you know. But, you know, depending on what you want to do, you could go for a matte finish or a gloss finish. A matte finish is good for like a realistic paint finish, because the military's not going to have stuff painted all shiny like that. Anyway, that level of shine is pretty nice, and once this stuff dries, it'll be vaguely that shiny. But oh my god, fly, get away from it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing inside to dry, meaning I'll get to breathe in the lovely paint fumes. I just don't want to leave this thing outside because we're looking at some dark clouds, and I don't want it to potentially rain. Thought I heard thunder earlier. But the sky is looking pretty nice. Got all them gold rays of light. Looks awesome. So here I got the helmet after the clear coat, and I think that it turned out pretty good. But also, we've done the last couple things necessary for the helmet. I've got the visor put in, as well as the these little venti doos. And I'll be honest, I don't remember where I got these from, but they were some kind of rubber hoses. I took just little chunklets of them and I glued them here onto the inside. I threw in a bit of foam padding, and so now the helmet is done ski, but also all the rest of everything is done ski. So now that it's done, I guess the only thing really left to do is to finally try all of it on at the same time and let you guys see what I've been working on for 2 solid years. Oh goodness. I'm happy. I'm proud that I was able to accomplish building that suit. You guys have seen this wall behind me. You've seen the various helmets over here throughout a number of these videos. I like each one of these helmets for various reasons. Each one of them has been something just really cool, something that I either made or bought or modified or whatever it may be. And I'm happy to have them. But out of all the helmets I own, right now, this one really does mean a whole heck of a lot. It's something that I've always kind of wanted, you know. And part of the reason I even built the Master Chief armor, this metal Master Chief armor, I wanted something that was indestructible. I want the costume that is unbreakable, indestructible, and, you know, it's going to last longer than me. And, you know, the other part of it, too, is that I specifically wanted to build Halo 2. Now, I'm not going to get into differences of opinions on the various games, but I am going to say that I am far more fond of the Bungie era of Halo. If you like the 343 era, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just stating point of opinion. I like Bungie's work more, and I distinctly wanted to build the Halo 2 armor because of what Halo 2 means for me. Ultimately, this project is a love letter to those old days, to Bungie of that era, and to all the great times I had in high school as a kid, hanging out and playing this video game with my friends. You know, Halo 2 was a grand time, and I'm very happy that I got to play, and I still get to play that game, and I'm happy that I got to build this project and that I was, well, about as successful as I could be. I do want to address one thing before we're done here. You guys may have noticed the hand plates were kind of omitted from the painting and all that other stuff, and there's a reason for that. It's because I ultimately determined that the hand plates that I made were no good. The steel hand plates were not going to work out for what I was trying to do, so instead I made these out of EVA foam. Now, these foam hand plates, they will work just as good, if not better, than what the steel ones were going to be. You know, they sit onto these gloves just fine. They look just as good, if not better, and they're lightweight. The problem that the steel ones, well, the main problem of the steel ones was the fact that since they are heavy, I would have had to mount them directly to these gloves. And I have learned over the years as a cosplayer, it's really nice to have things like gloves, boots, undersuits that are multi-purpose. So I did not want to take those steel plates and mount them permanently to these gloves. I like them too much. So instead, it was easier and more functional to just make foam hand backers instead. Also, I know there are going to be people who are going to ask questions like, how much does it weigh? How much did it cost? All those kinds of things. So I don't have the exact stats, and I don't have them on hand, but I will leave that information down in the description if you are curious and want to look at it. I can at least say this much. The amount I spent purely on steel was more than I should have spent. And while I don't know the weight off the top of my head, I know one very important thing, which is that you're not likely to see me wear the Metal Master Chief armor to a convention or anything like that. It is far heavier than I had intended it to be, far heavier than I expected it to be. And about halfway through building the costume, I had the realization that I made a mistake. So ultimately, I did build a wearable costume. I made a metal version of Master Chief from Halo 2. And I'm thrilled that I accomplished it. But it is likely to live the rest of its life as a statue, which I think is still pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I'm very satisfied with this work, and I just want to say to all of you guys, if you watched one video or if you watched all of them, Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I appreciate all you for taking your time to view what I had to show you. So, mushy stuff out of the way. Let me close out the video by saying, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do here, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Cast Carbon, and I'm going to keep on keeping on.